the last video I rebored, cleaned and painted the chassis extensions for the bonnet hinges. Now the next part. The other slight issue I've got is that these bonnet frames, where the hinge attaches, don't quite line up with the chassis. So, over that side that's pretty much spot on, and then this side you can see there's a little gap. That's because these are slightly too far apart, because these filler panels, which I had to replace with new during the rebuild, are not quite the right shape, which means that this is actually slightly too far that way. So what I'm going to do, piece of aluminium, I'm going to make spacers just to move them slightly further in, which should hopefully line this up. So I've got the aluminium in the vise now, and I have an air saw, which doesn't quite fit there. Blade's a bit blunt. I think I'm better off with a handsaw. And now back to the drill stand, where I have a 1/4 inch drill, because the bonnet frame is attached there using 1/4 UNF bolts. So now I've made up the two spacers and cleaned them up and treated them. I've actually electroplated them. I would have anodized them ideally, but I don't have appropriate equipment for that. So now I'm going to want a gasket between them and the bodywork. So here's a sheet of gasket paper. Yes, I know that's clearly a gasket, but it's for an engine that I don't have anymore. It's actually Tessa's old engine. They changed the engine partway through production, and so anytime you get a bottom end set you get 2 of these. So I've got piles of this one spare. Okay, so I'll mark out the shape that I want. Now the little dot obviously has to be a 1/4 inch hole, for which I will use a punch. This is the punch. Now it needs to be done on a suitably compliant backing, so I'll just use this cardboard pack. And the holes just push out. Okay, so I've made up my gaskets and I slacken off the old bolt. You'll need longer bolts because the extra spacing there. Keep the washers that were on there. It needs to go through there. Well, that was tougher than it should have been. Okay, so with that in there, we now have that one perfectly lined up, and this one perfectly lined up. Excellent! Result achieved!